Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to a new episode of Legends. Tonight we are going to look at a very cool deck that I've been toying around with in the past couple of days. So I think I've managed to put it right at the perfect curve and perfect shenanigans that it can do. And it can win against most stuff out there. This deck was inspired by Flo's Midgro Imperium, by Savos Midgro Imperium, and by Bujinnovation's Imperial deck. And I've made something that is aggro in mid-range. I have no removals, but it's a beast in terms of trading, in terms of damaging, and it can also defend and get rid of nasty stuff using an arcane. We'll quickly get to the deck and what and how it works in some gameplay. So, quick peek: Deepwood Trapper, Marked Man, Mork Tongue Aspirant, 2 copies, Mudcrab Merchant, Shadow Shift, Awakened Dreamer. Only 1 copy. Initially, I experimented with 3 copies, but they didn't tend to get buffed that often because there's not many cards that it can offer buffs. Initially, I only had like some Young Mammoths and some Pit Lions, no Bleak Troll. And if not for the Empire Oathman or the Divine Fervor to hit, the Awakened Dreamer would have just died in pain. So, more of the deck. Cleric of Kine, Empire Recruiter, 5th Legion Trainer, Mournhold Traitor, Skin Hound, Saron Pawnbroker, excellent to get some of those zero-cost stuff. Can be Shackle, can be Ward, can be a lot of stuff. So it's good to have. Also, a good body to trade with those nasty Foster's Guild Recruit from Ebonheart Pact. Windkeep Spell Sword, again, good trading body, 2 cost, 2/2 and Ward. Chrono Club Gambler, gain some needed cards, unless it gets silenced or removed, of course. Eastmarch Crusader, Haunting Spirit Pennant Socolotus Agent to steal keywords from your opponents. Works the same as a Nasi, in case you haven't played Penitus too much. But Penitus only targets 1 creature. Pit Lion, Young Mammoth, Bleak Troll, 3 copies. Dawnbreaker, Empire Oathman. Now, because of the colors being equally distributed, it's pretty easy, fairly easy to trigger Empire Oathman. Hive Defender, 3 copies. I didn't have this in my initial workings. You need to have this. In case you are waiting for an Oathman or for a Divine Fervor, and you want to protect some of those recruits that you're summoning, or even other flimsy creatures, Hive Defender is the best answer so far in the game for all the yellow decks. Black Dragon, useful for getting rid of creatures. If you want to trade, go ahead. If you don't, you can go for face if you buff him high enough. It's pretty nasty because you can't remove the Black Dragon with lethals. I've had somebody tried using Archene Venom Tongue with Squish the Wimpy against Black Dragon, and it failed logically. Unfortunately, the Archene Venom Tongues weren't removed because you need to trade them on your own turn. Not on your opponent's turn. Varen Aquilarius, I think I spelled it correctly. So Varen is a very good card. When one of your runes is destroyed, you gain 5 health instead of drawing a card, because you'll constantly have like your board full of stuff, and in case of aggro, you don't have much to answer against aggro decks. So Varen is a very useful card to answer aggro decks, because if they want to go to face, well, they either have to remove this guy first, or every rune that they break will just give you 5 more HP enough for you to push lethal next turn, no problem. A Nazi, steal everything from everybody, except the weapons of course. Cliff Racer 3 copies, Divine Fervor 3 copies, and Shadowfen Priest 2 copies. I don't have Cleviathan in this build. I had it in my initial build, but I found that it can easily get removed. It can easily provide a lane with a lot of creatures, and suddenly, I don't know, Unstoppable Rage or some other nasty stuff comes up. And I think for 6 cost, Clivia is not that good. Maybe in a full recruit, full buffing, and maybe some expertise cards that you buff recruits with, maybe Clivia is good, but in this build, in the mid-aggro Imperium, it has no place. So this is the build, this is how it works. You mostly bash face, you have a lot of synergies, and you can also trade because you have creatures that allow trading, like Young Mammoth and Bleakos Troll. Young Mammoth is excellent in trading because you also deal some breakthrough damage. Good for useful trades, and can be used with Cleric of Kind to keep it on board and annoy the hell out of your opponent. Remember, you can use 5th Legion Trainer to buff whatever recruit Empire Recruiter spawns. And this is actually very good, because once the Empire Recruiter starts spawning stuff, you just have to be careful either to defend them, because they will be flimsy, 1 HP. So a Skyvan Pyromancer can take good care of those. So let's jump into some gameplay and see how this deck behaves. And we're starting our first game against a Daggerfall Covenant. Let's see what this baby can do. I've also played it in casual, so this is, I think, the first or the second match that I'm playing on ladder with this deck. With this instance, incarnation of the deck. Got a pretty decent starting hand, so we'll drop a Skin Hound. I'll drop it into the field lane. We've got another Bleakos. We've got 2 Bleakos Trolls. That's some pretty nasty damage my opponent is going to face turn 4. I will begin dropping them at turn 3. Shadow Shift. I think I will get rid of Shadow Shift. Let's drop the Corner Club Gambler. And I have next turn, on turn 3, pop the last ring charge and drop one of the Bleakos Trolls. And then on turn 4, add 1 more Bleakos Troll to the board. Substantial damage. If I don't like what I see, I can always trade. But Daggerfall packs a lot of items, I think. Depends what kind of Daggerfall this is. If it's an item-oriented Daggerfall, we may have problems. Okay. It may be a an item-oriented Daggerfall. Let's hit for face. And let's drop 1 Bleakos Troll into the Shadow Lane. I just drew a Shadowfen Priest. I may keep that for when the time arises, like to free a creature that has been shackled on my side of the board, in case I have lethal, or get rid of a guard. Most likely my opponent will trade into the Corner Club Gambler. Yep, that's it. So I will be dealing 5 additional damage. don't think my opponent will drop anything else. That was 3 Magicka with the Haunted Spirit drop. Bleak Cost Troll into the field lane. I'm just gonna hop lanes over and over again till I exasperate my opponent. That's 2 big bodies. Pretty hard to block. I mean, if you drop a block, I might trade and buff it. Fairly certain that my opponent will play something that can be buffed, and will, actually it will receive the buff. I don't think he will just hit for face with the Haunting Spirit. My bet is that he's going to trade into that Bleak Cost Troll, into the Shadow Lane. So now I'm looking at Barrel Stalker and Withered Hand Cultist. Well, I don't have any actions except Shadow Shift. I will hit for 5. And I will use Shadowfen Priest to silence Withered Hand Cultist. Why? Because silence, it cannot trade into my Bleak Cost Troll unless equipped with some items. Doing that will cost Precious Magicka, and Precious Magicka used means he'll no longer be able to properly defend the Shadow Lane, and I've got 9 damage in the Shadow Lane. Hiking Emmerich. Removing the Bleak Cost Troll into the field lane, actually just dealing 2 damage and trading the Withered Hand Cultist. I will play Divine Fervor. Although tempted to play the other Bleak Cost Troll, I want to maximize my chances of pushing lethal the next turn. So I'll drop Divine Fervor, hit for 11. That'll leave my opponent with just 3 HP. And I'll drop Morg Tongue Silent. That's the missing 3 damage in case the Shadow Lane gets destroyed, which is pretty far-fetched to say. Opponent will is at 6 Magicka, so for 6 Magicka, can't play much. Maybe 2 Barrel Stalkers. Sorcerer's Negation. Okay. And Lightning Bolt. Wow. Okay, let's see how we can deal with that. I got 7 Magicka. I'll drop Bleak Cost Troll and Empire Recruiter. Let's see what my crab gives us. I will give my opponent Quama Queen. Decided not to play Bleak Cost Troll and Young Mammoth. 3 creatures, much better than 2. So it should be pretty easy to push for lethal next turn. Plus, my opponent has some pretty decent aces up his sleeve. Let's see. Okay. Covenant Oathman. Covenant Oathman gets you a random item from your deck and gives you the option of adding +2/+2 to 1 item in your hand. Dark Guardian. Let's see what item. Steel Scimitars. Oh my god. Oh, damn it. Didn't get another Divine Fervor. That would have been lethal. So let's try Shenanigan. Let's sacrifice the Haunting Spirit. And crap. Out of all the cards, the Empire Recruiter had to be buffed. This is basically bad because I have to trade the Bleak Austral and the Empire Recruiter. If any other creature would have been buffed, I would have had lethal. If the Mudcrab Merchant would have been buffed, I would have traded Bleak Austral and Mudcrab into that buffed Dark Guardian and hit for face with the Empire Recruiter. If Bleak Austral would have been buffed, that would have been 9 damage, and the game would have been over as well through this method. Fortunately, RNG decided it's not my day. Now, our opponent is taking a lot of time. We got breakthrough damage on the young mammoth. So the guard would not help. Given the fact my opponent has only 1 HP left, if I manage to bleed through just 1 damage with my young mammoth's breakthrough ability, the game is over. We could see maybe some freaking RPs, I don't know. Okay. We got 7 damage in the field lane. One of them is breakthrough. Underworld Vigilante and Ground Quartermaster. Probably. Oh no. The turn was over. I'm guessing he wanted to trade into the young mammoth, but I would have had lethal with the Mudcrab Merchant alone. Let's play one more. Into our second game, playing against Rambo. Wielding an Ebonheart Pact deck. Good starting hand. I will keep Hive Defender. Yeah, so the deck feels pretty consistent and pretty ravaging. Once you start dropping Oathman's Divine Fervors, it's pretty hard to stop anything that comes out of your hand. Okay. I got nothing to play. I'll end my turn. Will my opponent play anything? Nope. Okay. Let's drop Empire Recruiter. My opponent will summon... Okay, Forerunner. Maybe this isn't your usual Ramp Rage Ebonheart. Maybe it's an aggro Ebonheart. Guess we'll just have to wait and see. I'll drop 5th Legion Trainer. I don't want my recruit to be in the field lane, so I will spawn it in the shadow lane, and I'll use Shadow Shift to move the Empire Recruiter away. Oh wow, look at that. Empire Oathman. Yeah, by making a veteran, my opponent drew another Forerunner. I won't be dropping Oathman, But I will drop Hive Defender. Hive Defender is going to protect my Shadow Lane. Okay. Went after the tokens. Ah, Skyvan Pyromancer. Goodbye, recruit. Well, has lived for his purpose. Let's see, you've got 5 Magicka. I will play... Actually, let's play Mudcrab Merchant first. Ah, man. Well, both of them are bad for me. Not for me, for them, for the actions to be used against me. But I will take Traitor's Flames. Otherwise, my opponent will be able to deal like 4 damage in a lane, which is kind of absurd. It's gonna kill my presence, my board presence. So I will give him Skooma Rocketeer. Most likely he'll use it. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, look at that buff. Let's hit for face. And goodbye, Micro Merchant. Another Skyvan Pyromancer. Oh, that was well thought. That was actually a nice play. So Empire Recruiter is down. I think the best card to destroy would have been 5th Legion Trainer. Astrid just hit the board. Another Empire Oathman. But I can't buff. I need an agility creature, and the only agility creature that I have is Theron Pawnbroker. Well, I'll play it because I want to get the buff. That's very useful. Everything gets buffed to Sky High. I got 6 damage, 3 damage, and I just left my opponent with 1 HP. Feels bad, man. 1 off lethal. Considering the fact that it's just 6 Magicka available to play. Well, isn't it obvious the game is over? Yeah, I don't think you can actually use any like Arching Venom Tongue, probably with a Sword Inferno, because that would be 6 Magicka, or maybe with some Squish the Wimpy. But that would remove, like, I don't know, 2 creatures at best. Skyvan Pyromancer can't do it by himself. He can't remove anything in the Shadow Lane. Skooma Rocketeer. Skooma Rocketeer giving a lethal to Skyvan Pyromancer. And that will be a completed contract played. There it is, Squish the Wimpy. It's not enough. It's not enough to keep me at bay. Barrel Soccer, yep, the game is over. I can go for face and win. Nope, my opponent concedes. Yep, so I feel very confident about this deck. Works like a charm. And we're almost out of rank 4, yay! Finally. Thank you guys for watching. Cheers.